It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. We know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out, episode 366. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Sam O'Keefe. We are in international waters.
Technically, we're in national waters.
We are in international waters. And we've been drinking.
That's true.
So watch out.
Yeah, you better get the kids out of the room ASAP. Never know where this is going to go.
Yeah. So this episode will be a little different because we are on vacation in Hawaii, but
and I'm feeling saucy.
So for a minute I thought, maybe what if we just skipped a week and then
and then we woke up at 5:30 a.m. from a phone call.
Yeah. Like
turns out no, we will not.
Turns out we will not. So here we are. Ta-da.
Ta-da, indeed.
Yeah. But so far so good. The trip's been fun.
Oh, the trip's been great.
Yeah. We went and looked at volcanoes today.
Yeah, they were a little disappointing. I'm not going to lie.
Because they don't look like the volcanoes in cartoons. Where are the cartoon volcanoes?
No. It's also, we went to Volcano National Park and they did not take us to the volcano field, like the lava field.
Yeah.
Like, how do you go to Volcano National Park and we didn't go to a lava field?
Right.
I didn't see lava today, people.
That's like turning off the porn right when the plumber shows up.
It doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah. Like, hey, your pizza's here. Oh, thanks. Do I sign for it? Yep.
Right?
And then it's just somebody eating pizza for the next 10 minutes.
Fade to black.
That's not what we showed up for.
No.
Yeah. We're here for the lava shot. We have our...
Oh, by the way, the teenagers are here.
Yes.
So
that's okay.
I don't think that their laughter will even fade through.
I don't think it'll pick up.
Remember the time we started we were in an airport recording and we kept talking about the announcements overhead and then you couldn't hear it at all. So yeah.
And before anyone decides to report us to DFS.
17 and 19.
Yeah. Then it was the 19-year-old laughing at the dirty joke. He's okay.
Yeah.
I've seen his browser history. Like I didn't tell him anything he didn't already know.
And now Sydney is shocked.
So
I think this is the first time Sydney and Brian have ever actually listened to this podcast.
Yeah, they've never listened.
Lord only knows what they're about to learn.
Your parents haven't listened. My parents haven't listened, but they're dead.
Yeah,
so
they get a pass.
Yeah, so I kind of get. Yeah, I'm like, well, that's.
Yeah.
But so the volcano park. It
was, I still really enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. Everything on this trip I have very much enjoyed. I was just a little let down about no lava, you know?
Yeah.
I expected lava. I did get to see some steam. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was neat.
Yeah. I'm like, I wasn't expecting it to be. It was funny that we walked over to where like the steam rises up and it's like cordoned off with like a metal fencing, so you can look down in there. Well, you approach it from one angle, and like it's just steam. And then I walked around to the other side because you want to take a picture because where all the steam was floating, and like I didn't realize this is going to sound dumb. I didn't realize it was hot. It wasn't hot on the side that
at all.
And then I walked over to the other side and it was like I just got hit with a blast of hot, and I was like, whoa, my glasses fogged up.
Yeah, it was a great picture.
Yeah,
we had fun. That was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I have to say, I think the two biggest highlights from the trip thus far have been the snorkeling at Molokini Crater.
Okay.
And Pearl Harbor.
Because we love America.
It was an amazing tour. Just simply amazing. I mean, it was so well done.
Yeah.
And very I know it's not like it's not what you think about like all the pomp and circumstance, but it was so well done.
To actually see it and then see the Missouri is there now. Because the Missouri wasn't there when I went last time.
When you were a child.
When I was in like the 7th grade.
They've
My
changed
school had
things a little.
crazy good field trips.
They've changed it up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I think the boat was still in service.
Oh, yeah. See, I wasn't born until 78.
Yeah.
And so the 80s, still a kid. So,
but anyways, Pearl Harbor was really neat.
It was.
Yeah, it was funny because it's like I wanted to go because I'm like, when are we ever going to be back?
Right.
And you were kind of like, yeah, sure, if you want to go to Pearl Harbor, and
whatever.
we both ended
it's
up being
obligatory. You got to go to Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, and then it was like, oh wow, that was really.
It was really
something.
It was really interesting.
Yeah.
It was a really fascinating experience and just very, very emotional. Very emotional, and it's a completely different kind of emotion than 9/11. Like I got emotional at that too.
Yeah.
But this for me particularly was about my grandpa. Like I could just like feel him there.
Yeah.
Like I really felt, and he didn't serve in World War II.
Right.
He served in Korea. But it just brought all that back, and how we sent him to Korea. Like that was because right before he passed, it was about 3-4 years before he passed.
Something like that.
He was like, I really want to go back to Korea. And Tom,
it was like one day, and I was like, dude, you're like 90,
right?
Like
that clock is ticking.
Yeah.
And so he was actually like 88 or 87 at the time, and you just like did a Google search, and they have discontinued the program since then. But at the time, they sent veterans,
the Korean government,
yes, the Korean government
would basically eat the bulk of the cost.
Yeah, like once you arrived in Korea, they paid for everything.
Yeah,
everything. All you had to pay for was to get them there.
And they reimbursed like what 80% of his flight and 50% of his companion's flight.
Yes,
and then they put him up. They fed him. They took him around. They did like the whole. They gave
him a medal, and they had a whole ceremony.
Yeah.
It was so touching. I'm so glad we did that. And like that was what I kept thinking of the whole time we were there. I was just thinking about Grandpa. So that was very, very special to me.
Yeah. So what, pray tell, do you have in store for people this week?
Well, I thought maybe we would touch on, the fact that another instructor is leaving.
What?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe just touch on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also quite a bit of instructor news besides the fact that one left or is leaving.
Right.
There's still quite a bit. In addition to the fact that there's also a lot of Peloton news. And we have birthdays to talk about. I mean, there's a lot of content. There's just a lot going on.
There's a lot. Well, before we dig in, let's not forget our bingo call out of the week.
Oh, yes, let's. Okay, so bingo number 1, Robin Arzon.
There you go. So, okay, shameless plugs. Don't forget, we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn. Wherever you find a podcast, you're going to find us while you're there. Leave us a review. It's super helpful, and it's greatly appreciated. You can also...
We got a new review this week.
We got a new review, but the internet on this boat is so damn slow, I'm not even going to try and pull it up.
But it was 5 stars, and it was very kind, so thank you.
Why we're acknowledging it.
We haven't gotten a bad review in forever.
Yeah. We will after my lava jokes. But you can also watch all of these over on YouTube, except for this week's. It's probably just going to be a logo because I don't even know how to capture video and upload it on this boat.
We're going to be lucky to get these audio files loaded.
We might just email everybody transcripts. And then find us on Facebook, facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group. Don't forget our newsletter, which I will send out one day when I'm no longer on a boat. Mm-hmm. And our patreon.com/real spoilers.
No, this is not the Real Spoilers podcast. This is the Clip Out, honey.
The Clip Out, where for $5 a month, you get all sorts of bonus content. And we like you extra. So you get ad-free episodes?
You do.
And if
we get it early, you get it early.
Which I can promise you this week, you ain't getting it early.
I don't know. It's Tuesday right now.
That's true. We are recording earlier than normal. So, and also we record bonus episodes. You are for sure not getting one of those this week.
It isn't going to happen.
It's just, it's been...
logistical nightmare.
Yes, that's a more clean way to say it. So, but we will be back next week with bonus episodes in full force. We appreciate your support in the meantime, and we'll like you extra. So, and of course,
also Tim Shaughnessy sent me a message and said we shouldn't. He said he wanted us to enjoy our vacation and that our bonus listeners would understand and that we should just enjoy. So I think we should take Tim's advice.
Okay.
So Tim said so.
We will do that.
Okay.
And then, in the newsletter over at theclipbot.com, you can sign up for there. Okay, thanks. Let's dig in, shall we? We shall.
We shall. That's my line.
Sorry. But not really.
I know.
Instructors in the news.
Another week, another missing Peloton instructor. They're going to have to, the next Peloton partnership is going to be with Milk. They're going to start putting the instructor faces on the back of the cartons.
Well, they told us where they were going.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. So, Kristin McGee will be exiting the world of Peloton.
That she will. She will be missed.
Yeah.
I want to focus on that first of all. First and foremost, I love Kristin McGee. She's a really kind person, and she will be very missed. She's great at yoga. She's great at meditation. She knows what she's doing. She's a great teacher.
Yeah.
And like I said, a very sweet person. So what a crazy week this has turned out to be. Can I just say before we get into this any further, thank you to helper be Nikki.
Oh my God.
Nikki has, every time we leave, poor Nikki, I swear to God, some major news story breaks every time we leave. But she got it all done, and we appreciate her. We appreciate all of our writers, all of our helpers. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. And we are sending Nikki a grass skirt.
Yes.
From Hawaii.
So anyway, Kristin McGee. My understanding is there were 3 instructors that did not, the negotiations as they wrap up their contract negotiations did not go well. Kristin had been there 6 years. That leads me to believe that contracts either last for 2 or 3 years. I believe it's 3. And so somebody opted not to continue. I don't know if that means.
Well, so I feel like we should
drill down on this a little bit.
We should talk about her Instagram post.
I don't know how we can't. Yeah, she posted.
Well, we could just ignore it.
She posted this quote, and it was the same. So first, she posts this goodbye message, right? And she acknowledges she's leaving, and then that same day in her Instagram story, she posts this quote. I don't remember exactly how it all goes, but I do remember that the final line was, "You can't stay where you're not appreciated."
Like, know your value.
Know your value.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. I'll say it.
Go for it.
That way people can get mad at me because
the only people who are going to get mad at this conversation is Peloton.
Oh, well,
because everyone agrees.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know how to interpret that other than they wanted her to take a pay cut. I don't know any other way to read that.
I don't know what it means. I feel it's hard for me not to read between the lines when I hear 3 different contract negotiations not going well, 2 of which are yoga, other than to say that for whatever reason, data shows that people value different kinds of classes more than they value the yoga classes.
Yeah, it's hard for them in the current climate to justify a major expenditure on yoga, which I get. But I feel like you got to think Ross Rayburn's husband is directing a super successful Broadway play that's on a very successful national tour. So like that house and Ross Rayburn, I won't make it sound like he's a kept man. Like, I mean,
he's very successful in his own right.
Absolutely he is. And so like, but the household is not jonesing for money.
No.
So so maybe it's just like, okay, then I did my time here and that was nice. And I'll now go to the next thing. Right. And I feel like my gut tells me Kendall wanted a big raise and they were like, no. And
no comment.
And she's like, I'll let the loose cannon take the heat. And I feel like... I
said what I had to say last week.
And I feel like Kristin McGee, when you see the thing about know your value, like, I don't think a reasonable person would think in the current climate at Peloton that they're going to open up the checkbook and start handing out big raises to people.
I would agree.
And so...
And she seems... Everything my interactions with her and watching her interactions with others have always been like, she's a very middle of the road, very level-headed lady.
And so when she says know your value, it says to me that they were like, we don't think yoga is as important as we used to think it was going to be. We're not going to pour a bunch of money in it. If you want to work for X, then great. And if not, whatevs. And she took the whatevs.
The other thing that kind of lends credence to that is a comment that she made in her Substack, which said something to the effect, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact quote, but something to the effect of, she loved working for Peloton. She wishes she could have remained working at Peloton, but some circumstances made that impossible. It's just hard not to think,
right?
You know, but it's very different circumstance for her because, you know, she's a single mom of 3 boys. And so you talk about how Ross has, like, you know, all these options available to him. And I'm not saying Kristin does or doesn't because I don't know her life.
Right.
I just know that when you're a single mom, because I've been one, you have to...
As have I.
You have. You absolutely have. You have to look at things through a different lens.
Right.
And so they're in 2 very different places.
For sure.
So I get the impression it was a very difficult decision for her.
Yeah.
But one that she felt with all her heart she had to make. That's what I hear and feel. Like every fiber of her being, everything she's putting out in the universe says, I didn't want to do this, but I had no choice.
Right.
I could not.
Right.
For whatever reason. And so I'm definitely not saying you're wrong at all. I don't feel confident
and
that you're
I
wrong.
should say, we have no inside
None.
information telling us this. We're not like, this is just reading between the same lines that are available for everyone else to read between.
Yeah. And she just seems hurt in a different way.
She does.
There's an emotion there that's coming through in song choices that she's making, in the Instagram posts that she's saying. She's not saying anything. It's just she's saying things.
Right. Yeah.
So, and we've all been there, right? We've all been in a place where we can't say something for whatever reason. But, you know, certain choices we make we're saying something anyway.
For sure.
Whatever is going on, I don't think that we will continue to see more instructors leaving. As I said last week, these negotiations happen at the same time. When they happen, they're all happening at the same time. We would see it by the end of June. Boom, we saw it by the end of June.
You said last week very succinctly, if you're gonna see more, it's gonna be in June, and then
we're done.
We'll be done for a while,
and we are done.
And less than 4 business days later, here we are.
Yep.
So,
I do believe we are done. I mean, I know we are done. And also, I think it's important to note that whenever Peloton did release their statement, which I guess is our next topic.
Yes.
So if you want to roll into that. Yeah. So the other, when we talk about these instructors leaving and we talk about what other things are happening here, Peloton made a statement and they said, listen, our door will always be open to these instructors. This is not a final goodbye, but rather we hope to see them later. So one, and Ross alluded to this whenever he left, he said, the door's open.
Right.
Like I expect, and I already have planned some things with Peloton that I'll be working on and I'll be back. So that's one. 2, they also said in this note, as we think about Peloton's future, we're excited about the opportunity to bring new talent to our instructor roster to continue offering a best-in-class experience to our members. So that also means, hey, we can expect to see new instructors. Like, I don't know how else you read that.
Right.
That's a plan. And it's probably already in progress. Like, they've clearly known about these departures for a while now.
Yeah.
I mean, weeks minimum.
And we all know what a lead time there is between when an instructor is hired and when they actually premiere on the platform.
6 months.
Yeah.
So that could already be in the works, you know? So that will be happening. Some people are not excited about that. Some people think there's already enough instructors. Some people don't even know who these instructors are that are leaving. So there's that.
I look, in fairness, I don't know why they would hire new instructors right now.
I mean, I don't think they should right now.
Yeah.
I don't think they should. And I will say, there's nothing to indicate, even though I'm saying it could already be happening, there's nothing to indicate that it is. There's nothing to indicate that. So it also could be a year and a half, 2 years down the road. Like, I have no timeline on that. I don't know anything. I just know that when I'm reading this, they're definitely planning on it at some point when the time is right. But I think the other big thing to talk about here is one thing that we're not hearing is Peloton slamming the door, and they had to cut costs and they had to start firing people, and this is imminent danger. Oh my God, the ship is sinking. I'm so tired of that. Like, first of all, like, Chicken Little, let it go. Okay. Yeah. Sky's not falling. It's fine. And second of all, even if Peloton folded, like, even if they just completely shit the bed, somebody would buy them. Like, we've been over this, and I know the listeners who listen all the time, they already know all this stuff because we talk about it.
But the brand name is too valuable at this point. Like, there will always be some incarnation of Peloton. Will it be what you want it to be? No. Probably not. No. But will it be? Would it be with reduced personnel? Probably. And we're talking worst case scenario here. But will your bike, your tread, your row just completely stop working one day? That seems unlikely. I cannot imagine a scenario where that would occur.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Also, I just want to put out there, while we're talking about all this, I think fascinating to me will be, so what happens with Kendall when she's gone, because she's a Lululemon ambassador. Yeah. And they just filmed some big thing. I know that they did something because Hannah Frankson was over here doing something for Lululemon and Peloton. Yeah. And yet Kendall's leaving. So what does that mean? Does that mean, what does that mean? Question mark. I mean, I have so many thoughts about that.
Lots of Photoshop.
I mean, I can't help but wonder, does she continue to be an ambassador, but it looks different? I don't know. I'm just asking questions because I don't have answers to it. But either way, I feel like these instructors, it is about contract negotiations. However you interpret that, however, there are some people that are saying, oh my God, if these instructors didn't get what they want, that must mean that Peloton is, like I said, the ship is sinking. It doesn't necessarily mean that. Like, even if we're right and they ask Kristin McGee to take a pay cut, that doesn't necessarily mean that the company is tanking. Okay. It also could just simply mean they don't want to spend money on yoga right now.
It's just not, they don't get the bang for their buck.
It's not an ROI.
I wonder if with yoga as a modality, what you'll see moving forward is people double dipping. You'll see more, if you want to do yoga, you also got to do bike classes or tread classes, or, I wonder if you'll see fewer instructors that specialize in one area only.
Well, it'll be interesting to see because, like, Mariana Fernandez, she teaches running and she teaches yoga and meditation. So it will be interesting to see what they do because, like, Aditi at this point teaches only yoga and meditation classes. So like, will we see her do something else? Like that would be a good indicator of what you're saying. Like Dennis, he's yoga, but he's also bike, of course. Right. So it will be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah. But in the middle of all this, Kristin posted a fun photo of her rehearsing with her band.
She did. Yeah. It's like, 6 to 8 months ago, she performed and she sang and she had a great time. And she is now back in practice and she will be performing. And she also indicated she's going to be spending a lot of time vacationing with her boys, take some time off and just really spend that time with them. So good for her. And we wish her nothing but the best.
Absolutely. Transitioning into more normal news, Cody Rigsby has a podcast.
That he does. So what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I think podcasting for people that have an established platform has become a quick way to make an easy buck. Yeah. I mean, you've already got, a built-in fan base that will download it. And, you see a lot of these celebrity podcasts, and some are are really good, like Smartless, but there's a lot out there that are, and I'm not saying his won't be good. I'm just saying that it's a very quick and easy way to monetize a fan base.
It is. And I've had people make comments or ask questions about like, how is that going to be possible with all of his other commitments, because they know how much time and effort we spend in it. And here's the real simple answer. He will have somebody do everything for him.
Right.
All he has to do is sit down and talk.
Yes.
Like he is not going to have to do any of the stuff that we do.
Right.
Because that's exactly how the model for these is built, when you're doing what they call an indie podcast, which is what Tom and I do, you have to do everything yourself.
I know it's hard to tell because it sounds so top level.
Well, it does actually. But yeah, it's a very, very different thing. Whereas what he's doing is literally somebody does everything for him.
He'll have an engineer, a studio, and he'll walk in, sit down. He'll probably already have the bulk of the show topics in front of him, or if there's
all he's got to do is just riff.
Is just be Cody for an hour, and then they edit it down to 30 minutes or whatever, and
he will never listen to it or hear it again.
He won't even have the login to the hosting platform.
No, I mean, yeah.
We hope to one day.
I could only dream. Level. I could only dream to be at that level.
I live for the day we don't need to log into our hosting platform.
That would be amazing
because we got peoples.
Yeah, I would love that.
But so do we have any idea what the topic is, or just Cody talking to people?
It says that he's going to be doing this with his bestie Broadway star Andrew Chappelle. The show is called Tactful Pettiness, and it will explore all things petty and how to handle sticky situations with tact and grace. So,
okay,
listen, I don't really think it's going to be with tact and grace, though. It's going to be with petty. Like that's what his brand is.
Yeah.
I don't it's not really tactful. Like what he says and does is not tactful. It's funny.
Right.
I'm not begrudging it.
Right.
But like call it what it is.
Well, I mean,
it's just pettiness.
Why? Yeah, there's
no tact involved. That's okay. I'm not judging, but I am judging the title.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's true.
Well, I mean, it's a deliberate oxymoron. So
I don't know. It says how to handle sticky situations with tact and
tactful
grace.
Pettiness would be an oxymoron. So, okay. But anyway, so yeah, well, good luck to him.
Good luck to him.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need to really wish anybody luck when they already have an audience. Like it's built in.
He'll
be fine.
He'll be fine.
He's going to do great.
Yeah. Speaking of podcasts, Mariana Fernandez was on the Hello Latino podcast.
She was. And I love Mariana. And I love the fact that she's always very making sure that she is always being an advocate for Latinos all around the world. Like she's like, hey, let's talk about ourselves. Let's get out there and be in the ether. And so I don't know what's on this podcast, but the fact that it's called Hello Latino makes me think that it has at least some version of that.
Well, all the show art was in Spanish.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But I love that. And I appreciate the fact that, she's one of our Spanish speaking instructors and that like all of her meditations, for example, are in Spanish. And I think that's great.
So Tunde had an interesting moment this week.
Yeah, this was just funny. So Tunde's walking down the street and she makes a wrong turn, ends up walking down a street she didn't mean to go down. And then I guess gets a little turned around. And as she's going by this apartment with an open window, there happens to be a woman taking a Peloton class, but not just any Peloton class, Tunde's class. She hears her own voice coming through the window.
Did she poke her head in the window?
I don't know. Wouldn't that have been amazing?
Your class is in 3D.
I'm literally here.
Yeah.
I don't know. She might have been afraid to scare her.
Yeah.
But Tunde, if you're ever walking down my street and I'm taking your class, please feel free.
Also, Tunde, if you're ever walking down our street, your wrong turns are getting really wrong.
Yeah, you probably should not be in St. Louis because that would be a really long way from home.
Yes. Plus, I know you live in New York City, but St. Louis is dangerous.
No, I don't know about all of St. Louis. Just downtown. Just stay away from downtown.
The murder capital of America. We take pride in that.
I know.
We hand out shirts that say that.
I don't know about that.
Have bullet holes in them.
I don't know about that either.
Alex Karwoski did a very fun thing.
This is so cool.
It's very, very, very cool.
So, Ramsey High School. All right. This is where this starts.
Right.
So I guess this guy, so I don't really want to say his name because they posted in their own like group for Alex. And I don't know if it's okay to say his name. I didn't ask his permission. So I'm not going to say any more than the high school.
Okay.
But this gentleman, his wife has a high school that has a special ed inclusion class, and they sent a email out to the entire staff looking for any staff who had played a sport that was represented in the Olympics. So this man's wife floated the idea of seeing if Alex might be willing to Zoom in for the interview. But get this, Alex did not Zoom in for the interview.
He Skyped in. What a gentleman.
No, he did not do that either. He made the trip to the high school in person, and then he spent nearly 2 hours with the kids. And then the interview took place in their media center, but one of the kids asked Alex if he could teach them how to row. And so he went down to the fitness center and hopped on the ERG and taught the kid how to row. How amazing is that?
That's really cool.
That is so cool. Like, this is the kind of thing, like, we have so many instructors that never meet everyone. They don't even get on the radar of people. And Alex Karwoski is one of them. Like, he is an amazing guy, and more people should be taking classes with him. So,
well, I think some of that it was being
not as many row. I get it.
Yeah.
I do. I get it. But like, that is a great example of an instructor that gets overlooked for his amazingness when some instructors take up all the oxygen. But some of them are gone. So
yeah,
that's less oxygen. That is really, really cool of Alex. That is really cool.
It is very cool. That's a really neat story.
It is. I'm very impressed by that.
So Jess King is launching her own platform.
I'm a little confused by this.
I am also a little confused, and by a little, I mean a lot.
Do you want me to just read it?
It is like such like synergy tech speak. It feels similar to Swagger Society in that I read the description and I'm like,
but what is it?
But what now?
Yeah, it feels like a marketing website. You know how you go to those marketing websites and they say like a whole paragraph of things, but they didn't actually say anything?
We're designed to synergize
That's exactly what this is. Okay, it says, Peloton instructor Jess King teams up with Cargo and Fabric to launch On the Record. Okay, got it so far.
Okay.
A revolutionary new platform. What now? Blending wellness. Here's where it gets crazy. Wellness, parenting, and music content with cutting-edge technology and advertising innovation. You lost me. What the hell does that mean?
Well,
How are you blending parenting and wellness and music with advertising innovation? What does that mean?
Advertising innovation. If you've innovated advertising, then you should be like, we found a way to advertise on the back of people's eyelids. Well, that's innovative. That would be my response. But if you just say it's innovative, trust me,
it is.
It's going to be innovative.
It's going to be good.
But what is it? It's innovative.
Well,
but innovative how? For advertising. But what about advertising? It's innovative. What?
That's exactly what's happening here. Now, I'm not saying this is not even going to be cool or bad. This is not me saying...
It's going to be innovative is what it's going to be.
Maybe.
And revolutionary.
But also, it says that she's going to be launching her new long-form website. What the hell is a long-form website? Aren't all websites long-form? Like, by their very nature, they have words on them.
They just go on and on.
Right.
What?
I mean, that's the whole point. I don't understand. Like, it's... What? So, I don't know. It says it's poised to be a unique digital space where King will share her multifaceted insights through various content forms, including exclusive video interviews that offer her audience unparalleled engagement.
So it's Substack?
But she's going to have videos?
Okay.
So I don't know. So I guess we will see. But, you know, of course... When I hear all this, and I think the big thing that comes with like the Swagger Society is like, you can call it whatever you want, but like there's going to be money involved, right? There's got to be, because what's the point?
Well, they'll have
somebody's going to make money.
That innovative advertising revenue.
If you say so.
Okay. We're saucy.
I know. I told you. I warned them we were saucy. But and I don't mean that in a bad way towards Jess King. Like, just to be clear, I just don't understand what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, that's all. That's all I'm saying.
We don't understand.
Yeah. Well, it's out there.
Well, coming up after this, more sauciness as we talk about showrooms that are closing and new classes that are being filmed and what all that means. So stick around, won't you?
Peloton in the news.
The Austin showroom is closing.
It is June 23rd. Sad. It's been around since 2016. That's a while.
That's a while.
That's one of the first ones. And they are going to be closing, and their last day is on June 23rd, same day as the celebration.
Okay. So if you live in the Austin area, first off, congratulations on your weirdness.
Yes.
And you should go by and say hi. Or bye.
Hey, at least they get a party. We didn't have one in St. Louis. They didn't even bother.
They were afraid they would get murdered. Because it's St. Louis.
Oh, my God.
40% of all people in St. Louis are murdered. Did you know that?
Stop it. Stop.
That is a true fact that I just made up.
God.
So the arms lightweight classes, or as I like to call them, the ALWs.
Stop. Don't act like you knew what the hell that was other than 2 hours ago when I told you.
You were like, ALW. And I was like, wait, is that what they call Lou Gehrig's disease now? I was like, does an instructor have Lou Gehrig's disease? I think that might be the top story. I'm sorry, Kristin.
Oh, my God.
But apparently it means
arms and lightweights.
Arms that are lightweight.
Sorta.
Like my arms. They're very lightweight.
Wow. Well, they're now filming them, the arms, in lightweight classes in the strength studio.
So the people are just like going up to the door of the strength studio and they're sticking their arm in and they film that.
They just film that.
They just film the arm in the studio.
They just film the arm.
It's just a free-floating arm.
Listen, it's innovative. I'm pretty sure it's going to start showing up on Jess King's new website.
It's innovative arm. They put tattoos on them. This arm pops in, and they're like,
"It's got logos.
What's on that? What's on that bicep?" Well, I'll be damned. It's a Lululemon logo.
Let me go get some Lululemon.
You know what that is?
Innovative.
It's innovative. We're innovating.
We're innovating.
We're innovators
right now.
here.
Right now.
Right on our own revolutionary platform that gives a voice to the synergized.
It does. It does. Well, at any rate, they are going to now be filming these in the strength studio, which means that you can access them from all of the equipment and the app, not just on the bike.
So that's actually important.
It is. Yeah. And I think they've been doing this for a while, just to be clear.
Yeah.
But I think we finally realized that it's like all of these are now being filmed there. They didn't just move them. Like,
Gotcha.
I didn't realize they were actually being filmed in the strength studio. I thought that they had just somehow made them available, but it's where they're doing them now.
Well, if you're wandering around the strength studio and you see a free floating arm, give it a high five, won't you? So PSL is celebrating Pride with drag bingo.
I think this is amazing. Leanne, Benny, and Jeffrey were going to, they have done, I guess. It's on the 30th, so it'll happen later this month. And they are going to be doing drag bingo. They're hosting, okay?
Okay.
So it's going to be a game night, and it's going to, Envy is going to be there. It's a super glam, super camp East London party queen known for her quick wit, amazing live vocals, and wow factor looks. She is the queen of drag bingo. So that's going to happen. And then, of course, Benny, Jeffrey, and Leanne are all going to be there. And then there's also going to be time for you to play the game. You're going to get to hang out with the instructors. You're going to get to meet Envy. It's going to be a fun day. Doesn't that sound awesome?
Sure.
You know, what I really wish they would do is like broadcast this, because you can go if you're in London and you were lucky enough to buy these tickets, right? But if you couldn't, I wish they would like film this. Like they've got Peloton studios now, you know, where they put out movies. Well, put this one out. I want to see this. This looks fun. I wish I could be there.
You're also getting a Pride run. Yes.
There's going to be like a little 5K that is occurring. And when I say little, I just mean miles. Not like not amount of people, because it's a 5K, and they are doing it specifically for Pride. It's coming up. They had a whole thing where you could sign up for it, and it will be taking place on the 25th of June. It's going to be outdoors, 6:30 p.m. local time. You can even bring a friend as long as you sign up for it ahead of time. So that's so cool.
Replacement parts are now available for purchase online.
Yeah, this is a really cool deal. So if your bike is under warranty or your parts or whatever equipment you have is under warranty, this does not apply to you. But if it's something that doesn't need to be fixed under warranty, then you can go and get parts directly from them. So like if you like, how many times have we seen somebody's dog has eaten the cord on their bike, right? Like that's just an example. You can go and buy a replacement cord. You don't have to like interact with somebody online to get the part.
You can also buy a replacement dog right there on the website.
You can totally do that. They have dogs. They don't have dogs, but if they did
your dog get electrocuted when chewing through the cord?
I hope not. I hope that does not happen.
Here's a Cocker Spaniel.
Oh my God, stop.
Throw it in the cart.
Throw it in the cart. They have a whole bunch of things, though.
Like Febreze to get the smell of barbecued dog out of your basement.
Oh, my God. No. They have a bunch of different things you can get for the Peloton Tread and for the Tread Plus and for the bike and the Bike Plus. There's a whole bunch of stuff, especially for the bike and the Bike Plus.
Coming up after this, we're going to talk all about the new content out there and what we think you should try next. So stick around.
New content.
Before we dig into content, it's
bingo number 2.
Bingo number 2. You read my mind, and by my mind, I mean the list of topics that we have in front of us.
Jocelyn Thompson rule.
Do you think I just ruined the magic for someone out there?
I don't know.
That they're like, wait, they've written all these topics down in advance?
Surely
they're not just winging it?
Surely that's not.
And then they'll be like, Crystal seems like she would write it down in advance. That makes sense. But then Tom...
Well, guys, he didn't write it down.
He's clearly winging it.
He is winging it.
That guy.
And half the time he doesn't read what I have in front of him anyway. Sometimes he deletes my notes for me. My notes that I made for me, he deletes. Well,
you wrote it. You know what you said.
I don't remember. That's why I have notes. That's what notes are for.
You wrote the note.
Anyway.
It is time for the TCO Top 5. We ask you to chime in with your favorite class of the week, and then we say it back to people as a way to recommend what they should maybe attempt to...
You've got your drunk hands on.
...check out. So...
They're like jazz hands. But
here it is.
The first one is a yoga class. So this yoga class is from Chelsea Jackson Roberts on 6/17. It is
our lone yoga instructor.
No, we have more than one. Pump Up the Beat Pride Yoga Flow, and this is a 30-minute. Greg Cochran. Greg, hi! He chose this class and he called it spectacular. He said Chelsea's energy, the poses, the flow, the intentionality, and the constant celebratory theme of Pride was amazing. This was not an easy class, but her instruction provided modifications to make everyone feel welcome and a part of the class. One of my top 3 of all time. Wow. That's big.
That's a bold statement,
It is
Greg.
a bold statement.
So the next item up for bid is your favorite Peloton ride.
Okay, so this is from Jess King, also in June.
Oh, how nice of Jess King to chime in with a TCO Top 5 suggestion.
Well, somebody else suggested
it.
But she did the class, and the class took place on June 6th. It was a sweat steady, low impact ride. And Danette Royal Giles picked this ride, saying the playlist was perfection, and the efforts really allowed her to be more focused and build endurance on the leaderboards.
And that class has innovated advertising.
It also had an amazing soundtrack to that class. Billie Eilish, Olivia Rodrigo, Dua Lipa, Rai X, and Duke Dumont. And, of course, Odessa.
Of course. Odessa, to me, sounds like a weight loss drug.
We've been over that because remember how they had the whole giveaway and all that stuff, and we had a whole conversation. Yeah. So there's still a weight loss drug. Don't worry.
Ask your doctor if Odessa is right for you. In the event your Odessa lasts for more than 4 hours, seek a physician.
Did the children leave?
They went to the bathroom.
Oh.
Each to a different bathroom, though.
Oh, that's good because that would be weird otherwise. Yeah. So
number 3, your favorite Peloton walk.
Okay, so on June 13th, there was a walk with John Hosking, and this was his last class. His last class before this walk was on May 4th because remember the boot? We talked about John was in a boot.
The boot.
And now
or as they call it in Germany, Das Boot.
Yes. Well, he was back in June, and Melissa Giles Hanwacker chose this class, saying it was nice to see John back. John had planned on running the London Marathon on April 21st, but on April 4th, he announced he was pulling out of the race due to his ankle injury, and then he had his medical boot to help his ankle heal, and this was a great walk for John to get back in the groove of teaching with a wonderful playlist.
Number 4, favorite Peloton strength class. Ooh, is there just an arm in this class?
This class was taught by Bex Gentry on June 5th, and it was a strength for runners, 30-minute. So Daxton chose this class, saying the format was simple yet effective. The class started with a fabulous stretch, including a few yoga moves that Bex said were inspired by none other than Dennis Morton. Bex used familiar moves throughout the workout that included toning and balancing.
Is Daxton famous? They only have one name.
I know.
You have to be famous if you only have one name.
I'm wondering if it was just like a copy-paste thing. So, I don't know.
I hope not.
You hope it's just Daxton.
I hope this person's going through life just being like, what's your name? Daxton. What's your last name? You fucking heard me.
I am Daxton.
It's Daxton.
It's like Beyonce. I hope there's a hair flip at the end of it, too. You know? Daxton, hair flip.
I hope Daxton is bald and still does a hair flip.
That would be amazing.
Just on general principle.
Okay.
Finally, number 5, your favorite unstackable.
Okay, so this was taught by Christine D'Ercole, and this took place on June 16th. It was a 75-minute Power Zone endurance ride. And Karen Allen Reddy took this ride in the studio live. Yay, Karen! And she said it was tough. Her legs are still feeling it. And the 75 minutes, the Queen of Hills, is no joke for sure. 11-minute warm-up. 63 minutes of hard work.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. Wow. What a playlist. Got REM, the Eurythmics, the Beatles, Taylor Swift, and Florence and the Machine. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's great. I love it.
And now let's take a look at what's coming up this week at Peloton in a segment called This Week at Peloton.
By the time you've heard it, it has already occurred. But so new metrics classes have dropped. They added a whole bunch more. So if you like the metrics where there's minimal talking, more working, focusing on the cues, these are for you. Bunch just dropped. There's also a new Defected Records live DJ ride with Ben Aldis. He just put that together.
Ta-da.
Yeah. Scheduled for February. Where the hell did that come from? Friday, June 21st.
There's a summer solstice russet.
I think it's a reset, honey.
Agree to disagree.
Okay. Well, Dennis is doing a reset. He is going to have a premiere reset ride on Thursday, June 20th, followed by a reset yoga flow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So, perfect way to start the new season.
And there is low impact cardio with Rebecca.
Yes, there is. And this is going to be live. So if you were looking for live low impact cardio class, June 21st, 1 p.m. Eastern. This is the first one. So this is a big deal. That's exciting.
We had multiple celebrations this week. We had Peloton celebrated Father's Day.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
So Father's Day occurred. There were new classes that dropped in Spanish and English. They had for the father classes, and in Spanish that is said Para Los Padres classes.
Okay.
And there was a 30-minute ride with Camila, and there was a 20-minute upper body strength with Rad, and a 20-minute yoga flow with Mariana. They also had new live and encore classes for English-speaking members. There was a Father's Day ride with Alex Toussaint. There was one with Bradley Rose that was on demand. A Father's Day walk and run with Robin. And that was an encore. And then there was a new row with Alex K, and that was live. So...
And we also celebrated Juneteenth this week.
Yes. Now, you might remember that with Juneteenth, we have had these classes before. So there's a collection, just like with Father's Day.
Right.
But they added some new classes that dropped, and they were not they were not live. So the Peloton closed the studio for June 19th. It's completely closed. And so what they did is they added new classes that were going to be taken on demand. So there was a new class that dropped, new classes that dropped. And I just wanted to make that very clear. There were some that were encore. There were also some new classes.
The most adorable classes I've ever heard of. It seems very niche, but it is just cute as cute can be. Strength for gophers. It's just out there. With their little buck teeth. Their little feet can't even reach the pedals.
No.
But they're...
No, honey. That says golfers.
Oh. That's a lot less cute.
Well, I don't think it has to be less cute. Although gophers are adorable. I feel like you got a real Caddyshack thing going on there.
The little boogie.
Do your little Caddyshack dance.
This is how every... white guy between the age of 45 and 60 learned to dance. We all dance like the gopher in Caddyshack.
It's true.
We got the overbite going, the whole thing, and we're just like move our hands and wiggle side to side.
Yeah, that's about right.
I'm all right.
I didn't see what you did there.
Don't worry about me.
So, I'm still following. So Selena has been talking about that she had this new content that was going to be dropping. She's been so excited for weeks. Well, this was it. We had thought that might be strength for golfers, and sure enough, it was. So that's pretty cool. And I think it's also important to point out there is two programs. That one is in English with Selena, but there's also one that is going to be taking place in German. So that is happening as well. And that one is taking place with Irene Kamer. So that's really cool that both of them are happening.
Andy Speer is debuting Density 2 this week.
This has been a very long sought after program. Like, people love Density 1.
You were my Density.
I don't know what's happening. You mean Destiny? Is that what we're trying to say?
It's from Back to the Future.
I don't remember that.
When he sends him into the milkshake shop, and he's like, "Go tell her that she's your destiny." And then the dad walks up, and he's like, "You are my density."
Oh yeah, I feel like we need to watch that again. It was on the boat today.
It was, but we decided to go look at Hawaii.
Oh, whatever. How dare we? So Andy released Total Strength Density 2.
You are my density.
And around we go. So this is debuting on the 21st. There will be all kinds of classes that you can take. There's a whole review we did last year when this one came out. So you can, go back and read that first of all. But if the new collection follows the design of the first one, you're going to see classes that are going to drop over 4 weeks. There's going to be 3 classes per week at 30 minutes, 20 minutes, and 20 minutes. And then we also expect that each week is going to have opportunities for you to build on your personal progress while repeating the same foundational moves. So this will be awesome.
In case you missed it.
It's a little something we do most every week, a roundup, if you will. We call it this and that because it's just a little bit of this and a whole lot of that.
Well, a little of this and that.
Yeah. So just little tiny quick hits, like little appetizers, except we're having them at the end of the meal. They should have a name for appetizers that come at the end of the meal.
It's called dessert.
I don't think that's true. So Kindle's classes remain on the platform, just like we said they would.
Yeah, I mean, all of the instructors that we have heard from, Ross, Kendall, and Kristin, all of their classes will remain on the platform.
They keep your classes on there,
but
unless
like,
you really piss them off on your way out the door.
Yeah. Couple of people have managed that. But I think the really important takeaway here, though, is that Peloton will continue to do the normal purges that they've always done.
Right.
So
one day they will
be gone.
But by then
you will have moved on.
You will have moved on. I know you don't think it's true.
But you will.
But you will.
You will.
You will learn to love again.
One day.
You will. Emma loves postpartum confinement.
Yeah. So Emma is following a Chinese book titled The First 40 Days, which outlines 40 days of postpartum confinement, no taxing physical or mental activities, drinking lots of fluids, and massage. And although she will be shortening the time period to around a month, she is keeping recovery and bonding at the forefront of her brain as she enters this new chapter of her life. So that is awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I think it is very important for a mom to take the moment, take the time to really just focus on you, focus on baby, focus on family. I think that's great.
Yeah. Tunde has a new friend.
She does. So this is what we were talking about when we talked about how the woman was playing. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, so she tracked her down?
She looked up to see this woman and she ran down to meet Tunde in the street for a photo op and created what is surely a great memory for both of them. How crazy is that?
That's crazy.
That's insane.
And finally, Allie Love and Jess King are heading to Cannes.
Yeah, so they both went over there, and Allie is going with this thing called Captivate, which is a company that specializes in data and analytics and marketing for social media influencers.
Are they innovative?
Clearly.
Okay.
And then Jess DJ'd a set for Cargo, but she's working with them on her new innovative website.
Sure.
So that makes sense. And then she's also working with Stagwell Global, and they're both marketing firms. So very interesting. So I guess film festivals are now just influencer festivals.
I mean, a lot of influencers get hired in movies.
No, they totally do. They totally
just pop up for no reason. Bad Boys, Ride or Die.
Yeah, that new one.
I don't know the influencer's name, but you see him all the time. It's it's a black guy who like points out instructional things on the internet, and then he just makes this face at it where he's just like, "That's dumb." He pops up in Bad Boys just like for no reason. Like there he is, and
he's got all those followers.
Right,
they
exactly.
Just want the
it's
followers.
like, oh, we'll put him in this movie for 3 seconds, but then he'll put it on his Instagram or TikTok or whatever his platform of choice is. So
makes sense. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. Cool.
Peloton birthdays.
So birthdays this week. I think this is the first time in like 3 weeks that I didn't miss somebody.
That we know of.
Oh, son of a bitch. First item up for bid, Selena Samuela, celebrating a birthday on June 22nd.
Next, we have Dennis Morton on June 23rd.
And then not next, but tied for next, Andy Speer, also on June 23rd.
Happy birthday, Selena, Dennis, and Andy.
And coming up after this, we have the interview of the week, whose name I don't know.
Chris Perone.
But Crystal does. It's Chris Perone. Helper Bee Chris.
Yes.
They're called Helper Bees because of Chris.
That's true. That is true. Otherwise, it would have been the gals.
Right. And I was just like, but there's a guy there.
And since we have a guy, we can't just call him the gals. That would be weird.
And then I said Helper Bee, and of all things, it stuck.
It did. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It did.
So anyway, we will talk to Chris next. So.
They are all a buzz.
Oh, dear. Oh, honey.
I know. You can make corny jokes. So can I. Why don't they land as well when I do it? I don't get it. It's like a thing.
Know. Why doesn't it land as well when I try to project manage something?
That's a very different reason.
There you go. You just glossed right over my "oh honey" joke.
I didn't get it.
That's why you leave the jokes to me and the project managing to you.
You know what I learned today? I learned that there is a blue bumblebee, and now I want one. That's pretty freaking cool.
Duly noted.
Speaking of bees.
This is the part where I tease into the commercial break.
Oh, sorry.
And then we move on with the show.
I'll shut up.
So we're going to shut up, except we'll keep talking, but we'll be trying to sell you something.
Checking in with the Peloton community.
Joining us today via the magic of a ZoomTube is Helper Bee, Chris Perone. Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great. Great to be on the podcast.
Well, it's great to have you here. And although you are an amazing Helper Bee, that is not why you are here. You are amazing in many ways, and I am so excited to get to hear more about your Peloton journey. And you know how I start these. How did you first find Peloton?
Well, I had actually started spinning way back in like 2006, and I really kind of fell in love with it, as soon as I started doing it. And then, when I was still in the Navy, I had a chance to go up to Washington, D.C. for a year. So I lived up there and kind of kept spinning and actually took a class to get certified as an instructor. So I finally did some kind of subbing for some classes up there. And then eventually, once I got back home to Florida, I ended up buying one of their bikes, one of the old spinning.com ones, and kind of had that for a long time. And then kind of eventually heard about Peloton kind of here and there, kind of held off on buying anything. And then because I had my own bike, and I was started off as an app user. So I was doing classes on the app, which was great. But I really wanted kind of to have like all the metrics and stuff that the bike gives you. So one of the sales took place. They would knock a few $100s off the bike. So I just took the plunge, and that's kind of back in 2021 is when I first got my Peloton bike.
I really thought that you had been part of the community for longer. Like, you're such an integral part of the community. In my head, you've been in it longer. That's so interesting.
Yeah. I kind of wish I had joined earlier. I kind of sometimes think I missed a lot of the good old days of what happened with Peloton. But I joined when I did. I love it. I mean, it's got so many awesome classes, and, from, just the bike to, running. I've got my own treadmill. I don't have the Peloton tread, but I've got another tread. I use, the app for that as well. So that's kind of how it started for me.
Wow. Do you think you'll replace that with the Peloton one at some point?
I don't know. I might have to find a different place to put it, because if I put it in my current room, I'd probably have to put it diagonal to get it to fit in. Because that tread, I really love the Tread Plus. I've kind of been on the Tread Plus a couple times at our local studio, our local showroom in Jacksonville. It's awesome. I mean, it feels great to run on. But I do most of my runs outdoors. You can kind of do that in Florida year round. If you start early enough, even in the summer, you can run. So I don't have those frigid cold mornings where I can just wish I had a tread to hop on. So, but I do use it occasionally. And so, I do, big Susie Chan fan. She's like my favorite tread instructor. So, and I've looked at the Row too. That looks like a lot of fun. So,
it is.
We'll see. We'll see what my budget allows.
I could tell you had already dismissed the regular tread out of hand, where you're like, well, I have to put it in diagonal. And I'm like, but it's,
right. He was like, he's like, it's got to be the big boy.
Tread regular is like, no, like, I'm not doing that. Going straight for that.
But when you've tried.
The Tread Plus is really sweet.
It is. And I just have to laugh and tell Tom this, because the other day I was complaining about the humidity.
Yeah, I was thinking that
was like, shut up. Like, he was super nice about it. He was not mean at all. But like, in my head, I heard him being like, okay.
It could always be worse. You could be in Florida with our humidity.
I would not last in Florida. Like, I know that. I am not a good Floridian.
I guess you acclimate. It's like anything.
But like, every time we go somewhere where it's like really hot and humid, I am like a wilted flower the entire time we're there.
But we're there for like a week.
I don't know.
If you just lived there, I think you would.
I don't know.
Get accustomed.
Not running.
I've been here a few decades. It's still miserable.
See?
You toughen up.
He is tough. He does it anyway. Yeah. And so one of my questions for you is, like, you mentioned running. You mentioned that you got into spin quite a long time ago. And you also mentioned the Navy. Like, have you just always been a person who's active?
I've tried to be. I mean, I kind of, I was one of those people that hated running for a long time. And in the Navy, you have to run twice a year on a physical fitness test. So for a long time, you had to do a 1.5 mile run. And that was pretty much all the running I would do. So eventually I started like running 5Ks, and that was kind of nice. Not too long, but those were manageable. And then just one day I got an email from the local running store. They were putting on a half marathon training class. So I thought, oh, that sounds pretty ambitious. So I ended up going to that and kind of signing up and training for the half marathon. And that was my first one way back in 2015.
Wow. Okay, so that's an important thing here because for all you listeners and for Tom, Chris just recently finished his 100th half marathon, and you've done a half in like every state as well, right?
That's right. I finished my last state in 2022 in Hawaii.
That's a good place to finish.
Yeah,
for sure.
I feel like a lot of people save Hawaii for that's their reward.
That's what Carrie Sokol did.
Yeah.
I mean, she does marathon, so I know it's a little different, but like that is a great running way to do it.
Yes.
Like I think that's really smart. But I'm also curious, what made you decide like I am going to go on this journey and do a half marathon in every state?
So when I signed up for that training class, we were all broken into different pace groups. So the person who I'm not terribly fast. So the group I was in, the girl one of the co-leaders of that group was already in this club. They call it 50 State Half Marathon Club. And she'd done probably almost 20 states by that point. So I didn't kind of sign up for that right away. I kind of did a few runs in Florida. I did one in California, and then ended up doing one in Georgia, because Georgia's just right up the road from Jacksonville. So then I had 3 states. I'm like, okay, well, only 47 more.
I'm 1/6 of the way there.
Yeah. So I signed up and kind of really, was knocking a lot of states back from like 27 to 18 and 19. I was doing a whole lot of races, and we try to travel in groups so we can kind of split expenses. So, but that's kind of how it all started for me. So COVID kind of stopped everything for a good year or two almost, but finally managed to finish in Hawaii back a couple of years. And it was a Waikiki we ran in April of 22.
Wow.
Did you run on a beach?
We started on the beach and kind of ran up Diamond Head, the volcano, and kind of around the island. It was really a gorgeous run. It was a little humid. I'm not going to lie. It was a little humid. Not quite as bad as Florida, but it was, you're in Hawaii. So what can I say? It's a beautiful place to be.
Well, you've been training in Florida, gorgeous. So it's like your whole life has been building up to.
It should have felt easy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm so impressed when people go on journeys like that, because it's so much commitment to do that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's not cheap either. You're flying a lot of places. But it's, if you're traveling with friends, it's a lot of fun. I mean, you get to go to places you probably never would have gone before. See different, been all over. I mean, did a beautiful run up in Acadia National Park in Maine. That was really a sweet trip. And the one I just finished, my 100th, was out at La Jolla in California. That's another beautiful run right on the ocean there. So it was, it's once you have, I guess, you hit the halfway point, you're just really motivated to just try to knock as many out. And, lately we've been doing as a group, trying to arrange runs around, where we can go to a baseball game afterwards. So that's what we did in California. We went to 3 stadiums and kind of during our trip out there. So it was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm really curious where you did your half marathon in Missouri.
In Missouri, I ran in Kansas City, and that's a funny story because that was the absolute coldest run I've ever done. It was like 13 degrees. It was around the Thanksgiving holiday, and and one of the things we would do if we could was like back-to-back states. So if you could travel and do one state on a Saturday and get the other state on a Sunday. And if they were close enough together and you could drive, we've done a number of those.
Wow.
So that's what happened when I did Kansas and Missouri in the same weekend. And the Kansas was the first day. It was frigid. There were Missouri. Yeah, it was Kansas City, and then Overland Park in Kansas. We did those two. And it was on the Saturday, it was brutally cold. So I don't think I'll be doing any more of those type of cold weather runs. Those are hard to deal with.
So you will not be going to Antarctica, is what you're saying?
No, I don't think I'll be doing that one unless it gets really warm up there. But
well, the way things are going, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You can add it to your list. So now you've done every state. Is it like you drill down? You're like every county. Is that?
Well, he just did 100. I want to know what's next too. Like, are you like, okay, I'm good, I hit 100? Or are you like on to the next thing?
I'm kind of good for right now. Just trying to maybe some races I didn't get to do the first time around that are really popular races. Those are the ones I'll have like on a bucket list, but. I know people that have done like 500-600 of these races. They've done each state multiple times. I'm not one of those people. I'm happy to just do it once. I'm content. So, we do, when we run, we do kind of like run, walk, run. So we kind of make it more manageable for ourselves. And I kind of learned that on the first half I ran, when I kept getting passed by people that were like, stop the walk, and then they would run, and I'm wondering, how is this happening? And I realized if you do like the run walk, you save a lot of energy toward the end of the race, so you feel a lot better than if you just keep going continuous.
Yeah. And I was really grateful that you sent me that training plan for Disney World, by the way, because I'm planning to do that marathon, and I'm trying the walk run approach this time around. And the one I was looking at was like, it was going to have, when we're in Hawaii, it had me doing one day, it had me doing 14 miles on a long run. And then the day we got back, I had to do 18 miles. And I was like, this is just not going to happen. There's just no way that's going to happen. It's just not.
You're not going to want to run 18 miles after you get off the plane.
Yeah.
From Hawaii.
She was trying to plot it out, and I'm just like, Crystal.
It's not going to happen.
And she's like, well, if I did it this way, and then my retort was, Crystal. But what if Crystal? And finally she's like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm not, because when we don't get off the plane until like 5 p.m. And so, and it's crazy because as I was explaining earlier today when we were talking, it's like the night before we leave at 9:30, and then we are at a airport for 6 hours the next day, and we just sit there. And then
and we're doing a cruise that goes to all the islands in Hawaii, so it's like we'll get off the cruise ship at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and then our plane doesn't leave until 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So then we're just like,
wow.
Yeah. And so it's like, we're just like, I mean, yay, we have another day in Hawaii, but we're also dragging luggage with us.
Right.
And, so it's like, now what?
Yeah. I am thinking, though, I haven't told him, but I am thinking that I might try to find a gym, that like a hotel that like will let you use their gym, and then I can put the luggage in there. You can go watch your movie.
Yeah. I need to see a movie when we get off the boat, so we can, when we're in Phoenix on the layover, I'm going to record an episode of Real Spoilers.
Yeah.
Sometimes the airports have like rooms where you could store luggage too. I don't know if Honolulu does.
Yeah.
But I know some airports have like luggage storage for, several hours or a day or so. And you just, they'll give you a ticket and you just pick it up when you're back.
Oh, okay. Well, that might be worth looking into.
Yeah, I don't know, because then we have to go to the airport and then.
Yeah, but it's not that big.
Yeah. So you're getting off the. I don't. Where are you? What port are you finishing at in Hawaii?
I assumed it was Honolulu. Is that? I have no idea. I have no idea.
Yeah,
they could drop us anywhere. I assumed it was up the road. I should look. I should look, Chris.
it's a small island.
That's what I thought. I thought it's all pretty close. It's not like sometimes where we've gone to another state and then we're like, oh, crap, we got to drive back 3 hours to get to the airport. We've done things like that.
When I was like, we
just
can go
make sure you check out that bakery in Waikiki.
I told
Leonard's Bakery. The malasadas are like fantastic.
I told Tom it's got to be on our list. We're right there. We got to go.
You don't have to tell me twice to go get donuts.
I know.
This is a MetPro free vacation.
Yes, that it is. That it is. So I know that you said that you take classes on the treadmill that you have, and you don't have a Peloton tread. Susie's your favorite. What other kind of classes are you taking?
Well, I've done quite a few of the programs. I'm actually doing the first floor boot camp one right now, which is a lot of fun. That's with Selena and Jess Sims. So that's a wonderful program. I do a lot of Power Zone on the bike, so I'm kind of doing a lot of those rides quite a bit. I've done some stuff with Ben Aldis's Stronger You. I've done Andy's strength program. So those are kind of some of my favorites.
Okay.
I've done some yoga with Ross. Loved Ross. Was sad to hear he was leaving or has left. But he was fantastic as well.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. How do you split up your workouts as far as like the running you're doing and the biking? Because I know you do take a lot of Power Zone classes, but with all the running you do, I feel like it might be difficult to balance that all out.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is hard to train for both, or at least train well for both. But mostly when I'm running now, I do like a run with some running friends, like on Tuesday nights, and then we'll do like a long run on Saturdays. But, long runs, right now might only be around 7 miles or 6-7 miles. So right now I'm just really running twice a week. So, and if occasionally I'll do a tread run. But I like to do shorter treadmill runs. I'm not much into the longer runs. I like to get them, maybe 30 minutes at most right now.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of good ones in that time range. A lot of good ones.
I just saw they came Peloton just released a half marathon training program.
They did. So, yeah. You'll have to, are you going to try that?
I might try it out. I mean, I think that's such a good idea because a half marathon is such a much more attainable goal than a full. I mean, it's a huge difference between the two. I mean, I've done 2 marathons. They're grueling. They're hard to do. I mean, it's not like it's just a little bit harder. I heard somebody say when you're doing a full marathon, you should think of mile 20 as the halfway point because the last few miles they're hard. They were for me.
I'm feeling really great about this.
You're running in November in New York, though, right?
That's true. That's true.
It'll be beautiful. You'll have beautiful, cool weather, great sights. So, that'll make it a lot easier for you.
And it's probably the only one I'm ever going to do. Like, I really think it's going to be it. I could see doing half marathons in my future, but I just don't know about this whole the full marathon.
Yeah, I don't like it when you're training for marathons.
Because I get all stressed.
Yes.
And I'm like, how am I going to do this?
Yes.
Oh my God, what have I done?
Yes.
the training runs are a lot of work. So, it just so happened the day that I ran in Charleston. That was the one we were training for one in Jacksonville, but we ended up doing the Charleston Marathon kind of as like a training run for it. So, and it was in the 70s that day. So it was like really warm and just,
Yeah. It's crazy.
Hit or miss, but I'm pretty sure you'll get good weather when you're running yours in November.
Let's hope.
Exactly.
So what is your leaderboard name?
I am Jackson the Saddle, JAXINTHE Saddle. So that's for Jacksonville in the Saddle, kind of like my bike saddle. So that's kind of how that came about.
Gotcha.
I like it. I like it. Oh, I'm also curious why you decided to go from 50 states to 100 with your half marathons.
So it was kind of like when you signed up with this club, they kind of had 2 major goals. It was, either do all 50 states or do 100. So I was kind of getting them both knocked out at the same time. So I got my 50 states done first, and then had, I don't know, about another, 16 or 17 to go before I hit my 100. So just managed to get it this year finally, and was very happy to do so.
So when you sign up for something like that, do you have to start over, or can you like grandfather in things you've already done? Like if you've already done 4 states just by happenstance, or are they like, nope?
I think it actually is nope. I think you have to. I think it's your list resets after you finish. So even though I've done like a whole bunch in Florida, I think I'd have to like start over. Or at least I know that's what the 50 state rule is. So,
wow.
And I've got a few states I've repeated since I finished my Hawaii run, but I'm not really looking to do them all again. That's a lot.
I don't believe you.
I have to win the Powerball and have nothing else to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a neat thing, and it's such a cool journey, but like one time is plenty. One time is that's just good. I'm good. Yeah, totally fine.
Yeah, once was fine. Had a lot of fun doing it. Met a lot of great people. Made a lot of great friends doing it. So we definitely. I mean, if you have the ability to do it, the great thing about it is there's no real time deadline. You could take as long as you need. So
that's a good point.
That is very good.
And you're in the Midwest, so you're close to a lot of other states. I'm way down here, so not a lot. Everything is you got to fly to just about everywhere else.
That's another great point.
Quit selling her on this. It's enough out of you.
Who's your favorite instructor that's not Susie Chan? Like, that's your favorite instructor on the tread, but who else is out there?
Yeah, so I guess my favorite instructors kind of since I started, I love Jen Sherman. She might be my top. And I like Dennis Morton. He's really good. I like Ben a lot. Emma Lovewell. She's a real, like her classes. Christine's good. So those are probably kind of my top 5, I would say, for bike instructors.
Those are a good mix. Very interesting mix.
So do you have any advice for people just now entering the world of Peloton?
Yeah, well, I mean, even since I joined, I guess it's been about almost 3-4 years. They have so much content to explore. So I would basically just, tell everyone, try everything out. I mean, because most people, I think most people don't really know all that there is. I mean, they think maybe they're just buying a bike and that's all it is. But, you've got all kinds of things like yoga, strength, stretching. So I would say, try everything. You might find you fall in love with something you never, tried before. So absolutely.
That's good advice.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining us. Before we let you go, remind everybody your leaderboard name and where they can find you and all the places if you would like to be found.
Well, I'm not doing too much on socials, but leaderboard is Jackson the Saddle, and you'll also see me on the Clip Out. You can write articles there. So that's basically about it for me.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us, and thanks for all you do for the Clip Out.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, outstanding. Thank you so much.
Bye, Chris.
So I guess that brings this episode to a close. Until next time, where can people find you?
On this boat. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe. You can find me on most socials and the Peloton leaderboard at Clip Out Crystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/The Clip Out.
Very good.
Thank you. And don't forget our Patreon, patreon.com/The Clip Out, where for $5 a month you get bonus content, except for this week, and you get ad-free episodes, and we like you just a little bit more.
A little bit more.
So anyway, that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep pedaling
and running
and rowing.
Bye.